Now the feast of unleavened bread drew near, which is called the Passover. The chief priests and the scribes were seeking how to put Jesus to death, for they feared the people. Then Satan entered into Judas, called Iscariot, who was of the number of the 12. He went away and conferred with the chief priests and officers how he might betray Jesus to them. They were glad and engaged to give him money. So Judas agreed and sought an opportunity to betray him to them in the absence of the multitude. Then came the day of unleavened bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. So Jesus sent Peter and John.
Go and prepare the Passover for us, that we may eat it.
Where will you have us prepare it?
Behold, when you have entered the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him into the house which he enters, and tell the householder, the teacher says to you, where is the guest room where I am to eat the Passover with my disciples? And he will show you a large upper room furnished. There, make ready.
And they went and found it as he had told them. And they prepared the Passover. When the hour came, Jesus sat at table, and the apostles with him.
I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you, I shall not eat it until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God.
And he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he said,
Take this, and divide it among yourselves. For I tell you that from now on I shall not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes.
And he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them.
This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me.
Likewise the cup after supper.
This cup, which is poured out for you, is the new covenant in my blood. But behold, the hand of him who betrays me is with me on the table. For the Son of Man goes as it has been determined. But woe to that man by whom he is betrayed.
Holy Thursday is the commemoration of the Last Supper of Jesus Christ. It is when he established the sacrament of Holy Communion prior to his arrest and crucifixion. It also commemorates his institution of the priesthood. The holy day falls on the Thursday before Easter and is part of Holy Week. Jesus celebrated the dinner as a Passover feast. Christ would soon fulfill his role as the Christian victim of Passover, which would allow all to be saved by his final sacrifice. The Last Supper was the final meal Jesus shared with his disciples in Jerusalem. During the meal, Jesus predicts his betrayal. The central observance of Holy Thursday is the ritual reenactment of the Last Supper at Mass. This event is celebrated at every Mass as part of the liturgy of the Eucharist, but it is specifically commemorated on Holy Thursday. Jesus also established the special priesthood for his disciples, which is distinct from the priesthood of all believers. Christ washed the feet of his disciples, who would become the first priests and later apostles. This establishment of the priesthood is reenacted at Mass, with the priest washing the feet of several parishioners. On the night of Holy Thursday, Eucharistic adoration of the Blessed Sacrament takes place, where the faithful remain in the presence of the Eucharist, just as the disciples were asked to keep a vigil with Christ. Following the Last Supper, the disciples went with Jesus to the Mount of Olives, where he would suffer betrayal from Judas. The Last Supper has been the subject of art for centuries, including the great masterpiece by Leonardo da Vinci.